So we are in the midst of a digital evolution. Everything is becoming digital. Think about books, for example. Today, we are reading books electronically from e-book readers and devices such as from Amazon, iBooks, etc., etc. Think about movies. Movies today are being watched digitally streamed to my television, mostly even on demand. Now think about wallets, right? Wait a second. The answer to wallets is not so easy, right? We see successful examples in a digital world with books, with movies, with all other different kind of things, but wallets yet have not transformed really into the digital world. So what we have today, and we just discussed it before, is basically what I call the so-called application or app-based wallets. And they have a lot of limitations. I need yet another account. I, as a user, actually personally don't really believe I would need another account. It's complicated, it's sometimes single purpose only, etc., etc. It has a lot of downsides, what's existing today. I think what the consumer really wants, it doesn't matter how it's called, he wants an embedded, really easy to use and seamless solution. That's what the user wants. The user wants also a wallet which he can not only use online, but even in the offline world, like a real wallet. And I want to give you guys an example how I see the future in 5 years from now, how I would like to see it. And let's say I go on a business trip, and I get into a cab and go to the airport, and of course I pay the cab and ordering of the cab all with my phone. I get to the security checkpoint, I don't have a passport with me because it's already digital. I have it in my phone and I verify myself there. I get to the plane, I go to the boarding, everything with my mobile phone. I arrive in Europe, passport control again. I want to do it with my phone. I want to do it in a digital way. I get to the rental car station. Why should I again give them my driving license, my credit card? It must be all digitized, must be all there with one click. I want to be able to get into my rental car, check into the hotel, and order online and pay flowers for my wife at home. That's how I want it. Just with my phone, and only the phone. And I don't want another account because this phone is being tied to me already anyway. And I don't want 5 wallets, I don't anything, I just want to use my phone. So basically what I need as a consumer is not an app-based wallet. What I need is a device-based wallet. That's how I call it. So now we, as Jumio, we don't see ourselves as provider for this. But in this world, when we are really there and device-based wallets driven by the merchants are reality, I don't use this wallet anymore, actually. Let me throw it away. That's it. I'm going to use my phone. Let's all throw them away. I'm going to keep it later.
Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our colleagues will be circulating to collect your wallets, watches, rings, and other valuables.
Yeah, this lunch wasn't cheap, so we got to...
You got to run it back somehow, right?
Exactly.
So the good news is, this core technology is actually existing. It's part of the operating systems today. There's technologies called Passbook, for instance, which is an open wallet technology. It's basically like this leather wallet you buy at Neiman Marcus, for instance. And it's up to the merchants or to the app providers to fill them up. And on Android, recently just launched Samsung Wallet, there are other providers. So basically, the core technology is already there. What's missing is the infrastructure and the platform to enable merchants to utilize it in their apps to provide single checkout experiences, single-click checkout experiences, to provide one-click sign-up procedures, etc., etc. Because again, I believe that wallets will only be successful, A, if people have trust to them, if they're open, and B, if they're driven by the merchants themselves. So we call that port. Jumio PORT, and I again say, we are not a wallet provider, we are an infrastructure provider, an enabler for the industry. Every merchant will be able to utilize device-based wallet technology within their own app. So here are some examples. And I want to highlight, it's not only online, it's also offline. So in the online world, what do I want? I want a one-click checkout experience. And I want to have a one-click identification experience. Either it's a one-click sign-up, or it's an authentication of a transaction. I want it one click. I don't want to complicate it. And I don't want a user account. I don't want anything. And in the offline world, I want to go to the bar and prove that I'm over 21 with my phone. And I want to also be able to do in-store purchases, and actually even I want cash. So now, as a first example, I want to showcase how such a one-click checkout can look like. But before we get there, I think you all agree with me that you don't wake up in the morning and thinking, well, I think I need to download a mobile app today. It's not really the case. What's going to happen is, I think I wake up and say, okay, I need a flight ticket to New York, for example. That's what really triggers it. So now, I've prepared a demonstration, and we're going to showcase a purchase of an Austrian specialty. It's called Leberkässemmel, which is basically Austrian fast food version of McDonald's. And if you don't mind putting the screen up, please. So this is an example and demo application where I can place an order and order a Leberkässemmel. And first of all, I click on I'm hungry now. And let's see if there are Leberkässemmel stores here in Vegas. Yeah, there are actually 3. You would be quite surprised. Let's check in. All right, so now I'm going to choose, like, actually today I feel like chili Leberkäse, right? And now the checkout process at phase number 1. So you would have to type in your credit card information, your billing address, you name it, whatever. It's a cumbersome process, right? We actually just utilize the camera and turn that phone into a credit card scanner, and we just scan the card quickly. So as soon as I click here, all I have to do is focus on that card, and I'm done. That was the payment. I have to enter the CVV code, and I say pay now, done. So with this, our merchants, hey. So our merchants experience significant increase of payment completion. As a matter of fact, up to 3 to 5x. So when they had before, let's say 10 people completing a purchase, now they have 30 to 50 people finalizing a purchase. So now what happened is, now I did my scan once, I have not signed up, I have not created an account. What happened is that in the cloud, my device became associated to this payment credential. And how this could look like, it's very simple. So I go again and find a Leberkäse store. And this time I take a regular one. And now, as you can see at the lower part of the screen, my credit card is already on file. So this time, it actually went to Passbook. We pulled it up there. Obviously, the critical details are stored highly secured and encrypted, PCI Level 1 compliant in the cloud. Now, I have truly the one-click experience. I just click here, and I pay. Enter the CVV code, and done. If we go back to the presentation, please. Typing is the old way. Phone usage is just ubiquitous. Everybody knows how to use a camera. And by using the camera alone, you increase your payment completion by 3 to 5 times. And obviously, by utilizing Passbook and reusing your credentials without the requirement of even create and store it or have a user account, it becomes even more effective. So another example would be the one-click identification. So let's say we are in a transaction environment. I want to rent a flat, and I have to prove it's me. I do a one-click verification. And Mike, you want to quickly show the verification?
So my driver's license, similar to the credit card. Daniel's switch to the, thank you. Same simple process. Simply hold my ID in front of the camera. Whoop, sorry about that. Simply hold the ID in front of the scanning bars. Focuses on the ID. Captures my credentials and populates the app. From there, all of my information is in the app. I can fill out a form, or better, I can just save to Passbook in there. It's in my Passbook account.
That's it.
Yep.
Exactly. So now, back to the presentation. That was an easy example to extract and verify an enrollment or a transactional verification. And this was the old way, right? You either got it with the fax machine, via email, you got some ID documents in there. But in reality, the old way of doing it was not even secure. So basically, if you look at it, this is a very interesting example. This was an ID which was really submitted in our system, and it's an extremely well-forged passport. So with this passport, I could open a bank account today. I could make transactions, I could play, I could gamble, I could do anything, because it was really, really well forged. If you would have just the normal procedures in place by getting it in via fax machine and having a human look at it, you would not see that it's forged. But in reality, we have a technology, it's called white light analysis. If you look at the right side of the screen, you see basically those light areas, and here it's emphasized that this passport has been faked, especially the expiration date and the issue date. So basically, the bottom line is this technology is not only faster and easier, it's actually better than the human eye. And as a matter of fact, if you look at it, these are real statistics from our system. Our system is extremely accurate. So let's say we have a payment service provider, it's 30,000 transactions, 2 we missed. So that's an accuracy rate of, I don't know, but the fraud rate is 0.006%. On a travel company, out of 133,000 transactions, only 3 missed. So overall, our system has a reported fraud rate of 0.04%. To round up the story a little bit, so you've seen online, in the online world, transactions. Now we're going to showcase a quick offline world example. One is, for instance, so Mike just scanned his ID, so it's in Passbook. Right? So he can use it for sign-up procedures or verification procedures. But you know what? He also likes to go to the bar. And he goes to the bar, and obviously, you know, sometimes you forget your ID. Doesn't matter anymore. So let me be the bartender, and let's see if I can quickly verify him and how it works. For this, I need actually my other example here. So basically, he has his ID now fully digitized, verified in his Passbook.
So I access my Passbook on my phone, pull up, pull up my driver's license. There it is. So there's the image of my driver's license, my name, and a barcode that represents those details. And so I show the ID to Daniel.
So either I just say, okay, it's okay, or I'm actually just scanning it. Okay, approved.
You can search details. And so in another real-world example, I used that the other night to get into Hayes for the Visa Vantive party. Showed it to the bouncer. He looked at my phone, looked at me, looked back at the phone, waved me in. And believe it or not, I often get carded and questioned because people rarely believe that I'm over 21. So.
That was an example how this technology can also be used in the offline world. And so there's 2 more things which we are not showcasing today because we need some things to announce in the future as well. But our intention is to have a real-world, multi-usable on-device wallet, offline, online, driven by the merchants. And it's called Jumio PORT. Port for portable, for security, right? And the thing is, we are building here is a merchant-based network today. So in the moment in phase number 1, we will only allow stored credentials to be reused by the merchant himself. Take the Starbucks example, for example, right? Every merchant can have a one-click experience, one-click checkout, one-click sign-up, or one-click verification experience within his own app. And at one point, you're going to open this network up if we have reached critical mass. And I want to emphasize that our system, what we are building here, is containing the highest level of security and the highest level of authentication, which is crucial for a successful tool here.
Thank you. So if I could just summarize very briefly what Daniel has shown us, solves two major issues. Number one, solves the narrowness of mobile apps being just payment, mobile wallets being just payment devices. That's number one, because now it can cross over not just online but in offline, and not just payments but also IDs, sort of like your real wallet. And the second thing is that you don't have to download the wallet. It's in the context of the transaction. It's a byproduct of the transaction, and that's a way to stimulate giant adoption. Now, I want to talk about this for a second, and with this we'll be closing out our presentation today. Security, as you know, and trust is at the heart of everything we do. And as has been pointed out, there's a little bit of a yank and pull between having things be extremely secure and at the same time having them be convenient and easy to use for consumers. And I can't say that any of the companies present are always finding the exact balance between those two items. But in thinking about security, we want to make sure that there is trust in this system. And the first trust comes from the validation of the credentials that go into the bucket in the first place. That's absolutely critical, because if credentials are not validated going in, then a system has no integrity, and then you don't know what you have. And that's one of the key pieces that we'd be bringing to the party. But in studying this and speaking with many of the top 10 banks and credit bureaus and major merchants, we've detected that there seems to be a bit of a gap as it relates to the transmission and storage of customer information, of PII information. Payment information is handled very well under PCI, and that is working extremely to everyone's benefit. But on the PII side, if you think about it, there's all sorts of regs, sometimes governmental and best practices, that deal with the collection, with privacy, with sharing, with notifications as it relates to PII, personally identifiable information. But there's really nothing that governs how this information is stored and transmitted. And as you've seen in the product demos that Daniel did, that's what we're all about, is how you create an easy way to store those credentials and an easy way to reuse them. So it's our intent to try and pull you all together and other companies, who aren't present today, to create a member-owned and funded and operated organization, which we've termed Siesta, the Customer Information Storage and Transmission Association. Patterned somewhat after PCI. And our goal in this Q4 period is to solicit indications of interest from you all and other companies. We think we're onto something that would benefit the entire industry as well as consumers. And once those indications are collected, then our intent would be to launch this association in Q1. Dan, if you might advance. So if you're interested in learning more about this or having your company participate with a seat at the table so that this association could formulate the standards in a way that's sensible. We all know that self-regulation is far superior to every other form of regulation. So a way that makes sense for our businesses, that adds value to our customers and the whole ecosystem, and does it in a way that will benefit everyone in the room here. If this is of interest, then I would ask or urge folks to register their indication of interest, because we need a critical mass of both founding members and subsequent members to make an organization of this nature work. And the organization would then formulate and enforce and certify the standards along the lines that PCI has done so well. So we think that would add a great deal of value to our ecosystem. Thank you. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike.
Thank you.